Being a homesteader, we like to grow a lot of our own food, and this year we grew a lot of kale. This is about 1/3 of what we have in the garden already. So I need to prepare this for long-term storage. What I'm gonna do with this pile of kale is dehydrate it. I'm gonna bring you along with me. So I just picked all of this from our garden. I need to firstly wash it all and then let it dry. My son just woke up, so he's gonna help us out too. I know that we don't use any pesticides or herbicides, and washing the kale, really, I'm only worried about getting off any extra bits of dirt and any bugs. The kale is just soaking, and in the meantime, I'm getting a couple pots of water boiling because we're gonna blanch the kale before we dehydrate it. And now what I'm gonna do is take a paring knife and just remove some of the stalk here. You don't have to do this. If you don't mind it, then don't worry about it. Save yourself some labor, but I'm gonna do it. It just looks like this. I'm just taking a little knife and I'm just gonna cut out that little bit right there. Oops. Just the bit of stem. Now I'm taking my de-stemmed kale and I'm gonna put it in a pot of boiling water for 3 minutes. You don't have to boil them to blanch them. You can steam them to blanch them if you want, and that will actually retain a little bit more nutrients if you steam them. I just don't want to bother with that. And in the meantime, while that's blanching, I'm just going to continue to de-stem and just continue making a pile for the next blanch batch. After 3 minutes, you take it out and then you're going to put it in an ice bath. Into the ice bath. I don't actually have any ice in here, it's just cold water. By putting it in cold water, I'm just stopping the cooking process. Okay, I have a pretty steady production line going on, so I've got kale blanching. When that's done blanching, it goes into the pot or into the sink with the cold water. Once it's cold enough, then I take it out. I set it here to drip dry. While this is blanching, I'm continuing to de-stem, so I always have a pile ready to go. And then once that batch comes out of the blancher and goes into the sink to cool off, then this batch goes into the blancher. So that's the production line. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. I have my last batch in the pot. I've got all of this drip drying right here, and now I'm gonna get it onto my kitchen island so that it can dry a little bit further before I put it in the dehydrator. If you have a salad spinner, you can use that and then you don't have to do this. I don't have a salad spinner, so I'm gonna pat it dry and then I'm gonna let it air dry for a little bit before I put it in my dehydrating trays. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can do this in the oven. So having a dehydrator is handy if you're going to be doing a lot of dehydrating. It makes it so that you can still use your kitchen like normal. Dehydrating often takes many hours. So sometimes you're dehydrating for 12 hours and you're gonna have to make meals during that time. Here's the dehydrator. So I've just laid the kale out in kind of just a single layer, and there's lots of trays. So there's 5 trays in here, and this is what a dehydrator looks like if you've never seen one before. It might take the kale somewhere between 4 and 6 hours to dehydrate using this. I still have, that took about a quarter. Those 5 trays took about a quarter of what I have. So I'm gonna set the rest in the oven on its lowest setting. So what I'm doing for the kale that's going in the oven, I've got a cooling rack set inside of a cookie tray. I'm gonna lay the kale onto the cooling tray and it's gonna go in the oven, and having it set up like that means that air is gonna be underneath it as well, and it's gonna dry a lot more evenly. This is the tray with the kale on it. It's gonna pop in the oven. And there's one in. I still have plenty more to do. Forgot to say, another nice thing about having a dehydrator is that you're not pumping heat into your house, because it is a hot day today. Now my oven's on. I have 3 racks in the oven full of kale and the 5 trays on my dehydrator with kale. I'm gonna come back in 4 hours to check on it. It should take somewhere between 4 and 6 hours. Okay, here's the dried kale. It's been 4 hours in the dehydrator, and I still need to check the ones in the oven. But this is the dried kale, and it is dry, so let me just show you. I'm gonna crunch it up. That's a very satisfying crisp. Now I don't even like kale, but it grows well here. So beggars can't be choosers. We have to grow what we can to provide food for ourselves. But having dried kale makes it, you can add this to soups or smoothies if you want to. But I'm actually probably gonna add this to salads because I like having an extra crunch. But that's it. So it did take me probably 2 hours of work to get it ready to go onto the dehydrating trays and into the oven. So it's up to you. We homestead, so we like to have our own food source. And living in Canada like we do, we have a very short growing season, so we have to grow everything kind of all at once in a short amount of time, and then we need to prepare it for long-term storage. And that is the process for dehydrating kale, if you ever want to do it. I don't know.